this session is about how you can utilize social media on your website. We're going to hear a lot about how you can use Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and actually this is going to work perfectly with what Shashank has just been saying, actually, because you know, I agree with a heck of a lot of the points you've just been making. But this has moved on a lot. You know, I gave this presentation last year in Prague, and not this exact same presentation. That would be a bit of a cop-out for you all, wouldn't it? You'd be like, money back, please. But, and then the year before as well. And in that time, we as a company have evolved. Our thinking has evolved, and the clients that we work with have evolved as well. This whole area has. It's never standing still. The concepts remain the same, though. And one of the nice things is, I feel that travel industry is now catching up to understanding the benefits of social media within their own website. But because, really, it's much more important for all of us to show an ROI. Because if we don't show an ROI, it's just, you know, it's really going to get questioned more and more. So, we're going to look at an unbranded travel sites as such, but more integrating function into your own website to keep people on your site. What resources do you need to manage your social media presence? How can you make them work, or how can you make your social media work? And what are the mistakes of others, which is always a fun one, and various other aspects, but I'm sure you know what we're going to talk about. So anyway, we'll move along. We consider ourselves a strategic social media agency in that we will get involved if we can help and show a benefit. I don't think that we really, we have to be clear about benchmarking and showing gains against traffic, conversions, etc. We've been established for a while, and we're very much travel focused. But we've also started moving into different industries, and the only reason I tell you that is because having done this research into other industries, into online retail and fashion and various other areas, it was surprising to me. Travel is a bit behind. I found travel behind in terms of how we approach social media, how we integrate social media, and you'll see this even from our own ROI metrics, even from the statistics available to us as travel companies, that we are behind the likes of Dixon's in the electrical space, or, you know, Crew Clothing, or whatever, you know, various different companies. But, you know, we are catching up, which is a good thing. Our philosophy as an organization, as Digital Visitor, and this is what more and more organizations have come to realize as well, is that to maximize the benefits of social media, you need to consider your on-site strategy as well as that with your on-channel or off-site strategy. I said this last year, but it's now becoming more and more evident. But I guess the most important thing is that you must have an integrated strategy. The activities that you do on one can do and will affect the activities on the other channels. And you need to connect those and merge them as well as possible. If you do that, they will synergize. You will not have to spend resource on this and that. You can get a lot of savings in terms of time, energy, and effort by investing across all the channels if you take an integrated approach to social media. So where is social media marketing right now? Well, its importance is being realized, obviously. It's been being realized for a while, but we all know that we need to be involved. Our most common bit of feedback working across the travel industry with companies large and small is we want to get involved in social media, or we are doing social media, we're just not sure exactly what we should be doing completely. And it's just that, I guess, a lot of people are still having that confusion. If they've been trying social media for the last year or two, and they've dipped their toe in the water, or if they're just starting out, we're finding surprisingly dissimilar companies in a similar place. And it's because, I think, a lack of an integrated strategy. A lot of companies have, over the last few years, had a mad rush for Facebook likes without thinking, what are those Facebook likes actually going to do for me? How are they going to benefit me? I don't think the ROI is evident in a lot of cases. And this is now, obviously, producing a lot of questions from senior management saying, okay, you've spent that much money on social media. What's it done for me? Where are my bookings? How has this driven traffic? Where's my conversion rate increase? So what's going to happen next year? I think that's pretty accurate. You know, being around the travel industry and working a lot with people in this space, and We know that budgets are going to be tighter for next year. It's not going to be an easy year for travel, for retail, for a lot of the different industries, for the financial industry. It's not going to be easy. And while social media marketing is not a whim anymore, it is a bit of a necessity. It is now going to have to prove itself even more than before. So, before California drops off into the ocean, so why are companies now suddenly starting to look at really putting in a lot of effort in developing their on-site social media, their content on their own website? Well, firstly, ownership of content is becoming a bit of an issue. If you own that content, you can utilize it in a number of different ways, and that is important. Maintaining traffic is essential, okay? In a world where maybe, I suppose your brand message is one of the most important things, and you're getting bombarded from all kinds of different channels, it's important to, I suppose, maintain traffic on your website and maintain your brand identity. That's incredibly important. Actually providing information, more and more sites are now offering independent, unbiased reviews within their own website, not connected to other channels, but it's their own, way of measuring. Now, the fact is, the consumer looking at that website, if it is assuming that these things are unbiased at the moment, because I think that the fallout from it being biased and only showing good reviews would be so great, it's no way worth it. If I'm looking at the different accommodation websites out there, the major accommodation websites out there that do comparisons, they're not all connected to TripAdvisor. A lot of them have their own independent ratings and reviews now, which again are, I suppose, coming to the fore. Again, Shashank asked who looked at TripAdvisor before coming here. Well, actually, I didn't. I used the accommodation website I was booking and took the reviews and ratings from there. There were about 100 reviews in total. It gave me an average that I was pretty pleased with, so I booked it then and there rather than going somewhere else. And the fact of the matter is, studies have been done that show that people don't necessarily want to leave the site that they're on to find that information. They want you to give them that information on your website. They don't want to have to go somewhere else for it. They want an unbiased review and rating on your website. 47% of website visitors would prefer to read reviews and ratings on your own website. If you provide them with the assurance that that's unbiased, then you can maintain them as visitors and keep them on your site for longer, as opposed to sending them somewhere else. One of the other things, why would you have social media on your own website? Well, if you're getting reviews and ratings and discussions and forums, and I say social media, it takes a whole different number of things. It's videos that get uploaded to your site, and discussions and questions and answers. They can all be, and tips, these can all be parts of social media. Each of those bits of content can drive organic search engine traffic to you. We did a study, and do you know what, I'm probably going to replicate a lot of these comments in future. I'll just skip over them, but a study that we did across, I think it was about 100 of the sites that we've delivered. Overall, we figured out an average that one review added to your own website equals one new organic search engine visitor per month. We'll come on to that again in a bit. One of the other reasons is generating traffic from other social media sites. Sharing that content with other social media sites, with Facebook Connect or with Add This functionality, will drive people from those sites back to your website. There are also new social media channels opening up. And if you've got some awesome content on your own site with photos, with videos, with ratings, discussions, etc., if that's in this place, you can then migrate that and broadcast it to these other channels that are opening up, okay? And I'm by no means saying Facebook's going to be going anywhere because it's incredibly popular, but it is consistently changing the rules. And as a business, it's very, very difficult to keep up with your presence on Facebook. So if you're investing everything you have in terms of social media and gathering content on Facebook, then the rules have just changed again with timeline, and that's going to have other impacts on businesses as a whole. And we believe that you should be investing on your own site and then sharing selectively with the channels that you want, sharing your content out to those other channels and drawing traffic back in from them. And in that way, it's a lot easier to prove an ROI, to be honest. So how can you define an ROI for social media marketing? Well, you do have to kind of pick these yourselves, but actually if you just look at this list, there's a way for you to each individually select some. First of all, conversion rate. In other industries, they're a lot better at us at defining this conversion rate than we are in the travel industry. In the online retail industry, the average conversion rate of showing reviews and ratings against products on your own website is between 2 and 18% increase. Now, it's a little bit different because you've got kind of plasma screen TV sold on Dixon's or at John Lewis's, the same product, essentially, whereas we have all very different products. But it still goes to show that we are looking ourselves at conducting a lot of case studies with our own clients to be able to provide a travel-focused ROI. And really, we're hoping at the next time, maybe in about 6 or 12 months' time when we come back and maybe present again, I'd love to be able to tell all of you, here is the conversion rate that we showed across 20 sites or 30 sites. That is the aim. But the fact is, travel's not yet there as a whole, I don't believe. Browsing time, that is something that we can help with. We did a study again on a lot of sites that we delivered, and we worked out that by having review content on there with photos and videos as well, we were able to actually double the browsing time of some of our client sites. It was 3 minutes before, or 3 minutes 30, and I think it literally went up by another 3.5 minutes extra time spent on their site under their brand as opposed to being somewhere else, because they're looking at this nice, engaging content, and it just keeps them and holds their attention. Net positive sentiment is incredibly important as well. Some people measure, what is the benefit or what is being said about them in a wider social media world as a key ROI indicator. Generally, exposure on other channels is also important, and again, I'm not going to read all these, but traffic from social media channels back to your site's a nice one to measure, because that's quite obvious. You can get that through your own Google Analytics and track that yourself. Compare that with what you're spending on PPC or whatever other channels you have for getting traffic to your site, and it will give you a nice ROI comparison there. As I've said, organic traffic's another way of looking at this, and one review equals 1 new organic visitor per month, which equals 12 new organic visitors per annum from one review. Assign to that a PPC equivalent of what, £1, £2, and you've got potentially the equivalent of between £12 and £24 per annum in, I suppose, costs for you for that one review being added to your site in terms of traffic. Recruitment fees is quite a good one. This is B2B. From a B2B angle, it's even more difficult to show ROI on social media, but we use LinkedIn, and actually we've managed to increase the traffic to our site via LinkedIn. It's more than PPC, it's more than organic traffic, and that's given us a heck of a lot of benefit, and we recruit people through that as well, so that helps us as a company save a lot of money on that. It's saved us about £15,000 this year just in terms of recruitment fees. So. Reducing customer acquisition costs, the more people that see your messages, the better. And that is going to get more people to know about you and come back to your site as well. Social media is great at doing that. And finally, marketing materials cost. Obviously, you can use photos and videos in other marketing aspects. So we focus on 3. I'm going to go in a little bit more detail into these 3 for you so that you can see potentially how you yourselves can use tools within your own website to affect some of these changes. So this is impossible. Right, okay. So how to increase conversions? Well, let's just start really simple to begin with, okay? And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to have a, 500-page document on how can you increase your conversion rate. Reviews and ratings will increase conversion rates. On average, within your own branded website, the reviews and ratings percentage that we found was about 80 to 90% of content was positive added to those sites. So first of all, people worrying about negative content, it's a little bit of a red herring. You don't really need to worry about it too much unless you're a really, really bad company. But then you've probably got a lot of other things to worry about as well. So on average, I said that in the electrical, in online retail, the average increase is 2 to 18% for adding reviews against the product. As I said, people want to see reviews on a website, and 47% of people actually would prefer reviews on a company's own website than having to go somewhere else to find them. Adding reviews within your system, and when I say reviews, I mean reviews with photos and videos as well, actually elaborating on that individual rating and text. It's not just about text and numbers, it's about some imagery as well, especially with travel. But that can double the browsing time, and they drive repeat visits, because if people comment on a review, that will drive them to come back, and then other people commenting, etc., will, if you connect that correctly, drive people back to your site. Okay, do you know what, I've gone through a lot of this as well. As I've said, driving organic traffic, 1 review equals 1 new organic visitor per month, which I've taken the higher of the PPC to make it a lot more, I suppose, showbiz, and therefore, I suppose, £24 per annum equivalent PPC spend potentially if you're getting 12 more visitors per annum from 1 review to your website. Now, that's organic traffic, but there's also traffic from social media sites. And again, what we found was sharing 1 good experience, as in, I went here, I visited this place, and here's some photos and here's video. Sharing 1 nice experience a day with your Facebook channel can drive 2.5 times your fans per month back to your website. Now, we know that one of the greatest things in driving your Facebook channel, well, actually, the most difficult thing is getting enough content to actually tell people about all the time. I've got to get some more content to tell them about this and tell them about that, because otherwise we're just going to bore our fans. And this is what we found, though, that actually these reviews are actually written, these experiences are written by other people, by real travelers who've experienced your services. So actually that's not really boring or even monotonous. And it will, if you put your best review each day onto your Facebook channel, it will drive that traffic back to your site. Same with discussions. You can share discussions on LinkedIn. And again, from a B2B perspective, we share discussions that we have on our own website with LinkedIn, which drives a lot of traffic back to our own website. In terms of reducing customer acquisition costs, this is an incredibly beneficial side effect of increasing your conversion rate and getting a load of traffic from social media. You will naturally reduce your customer acquisition costs. One of the key points actually that I'll say on here is that I've talked about reducing marketing spend and sharing content on other channels, but one of the key things as well is that apparently, of your Facebook likes, your likes are 51% more likely to buy from you. Now, what that tells me is not that your Facebook page is so unbelievably amazing that you've convinced them within this unbranded territory that they have to buy something from you. It's that the people that are liking you on Facebook, half of them already like you anyway. They are actually your brand ambassadors. So if you can engage with them even more and get them to say good things about you, then that's definitely a strategy we need to take this year. They can then communicate with their friends and like-minded people. Okay, so I'm going to quickly run through some ways of actually integrating content within your website. Good ways of showing content within your own website, of course, is make it easy to view and accessible. You must show this against your products, though. So first of all, keep the content simple. Don't make people jump through hoops to actually get it. Show them the content. Do not put it behind logins, whatever you do, because then Google won't be able to read it. Actually show it. Make your content on your site accessible for everybody to see. Keep the content consistent throughout the website as well. Show it in the same area on the different pages of your website. Don't put it here on 1 minute and then put it there on another, etc. So try and keep that consistent. Do make it relevant, so show ratings and reviews against products, the correct products. Used text and media. That's not used text and media, that's use. I added a D by accident, sorry. I only finished this off very late last night. Use text and media. It's not just about text anymore. It really isn't. And numerical rating, that's kind of, a few years ago. If you're really going to get the most out of social media and experiences, especially in our industry, you have to use media content. One of the most important things, though, is, and actually Shashank was saying this very well, is that you need to look at how you integrate this social media activity with all of the other activities, with CRM, with your offline marketing as well. It's incredibly important. I'm not going to focus that on this presentation because I think he gave a great presentation on it, to be honest. But as I said, you must look at how you do that within your own website. And it is worth it. If you consider your social media on your website and the content that should be on your website, and then how that ties in with your PR plan, how that ties in with the rest of your marketing plan, how can that be used in your email marketing as well, and including things in your email signature, etc. That's incredibly important to consider, and there's a load of different things that you must look at to integrate this better. So what I'm going to do is very quickly take you through a quick journey of one review. Because, again, one of the things that we're often asked the most is, how much content do you need? I don't have 50,000 million reviews. What am I going to do? And it's like, you don't need that many at all. 50,000 million. This is what one review can do. Okay, so we have a review. Right? I've gone off on holiday somewhere. And I revisit the company that I went on holiday with, and I add this review. Now, that one review added to their website against a product page, because I've been prompted via an email which comes back to me saying, please click here to review. I go on there and I add a review. It's got a few photos and a video on it. That will give me organic visitors. And that content itself could be worth up to £24 per annum in terms of traffic. That review will also inspire other people to book on there, because it will hopefully increase the browsing time of that page. That one review, if it's a nice video, and if it's a 60-second or 90-second video, can actually increase the browsing time of that page by a significant amount on its own, by 30 to 45 seconds, just with one review with media content. That, in turn, if it's a good review, can increase the conversion rate on that product page as well, just with one nice review, with media, because media helps dispel so many other unknowns as well. Then, with that same review, that can be shared to your Facebook page, as in your company Facebook page. And therefore, all your fans can kind of click on that, and we'll go back to your website. Next, that one review, when somebody's adding that to your site, it can automatically share in their own Facebook news feed as well, so that all their friends will see that review, and they will click on that, and will revert back to the site as well. Sixth is that what you can also do is, with that review that you're posting to the newsfeed, you can actually control the link as well. So whilst it might link back to your website where the review is, there's another link there that, using Facebook development, you can actually control where that links to. So you could possibly measure it going to a different part of, well, who knows where you could send that link to, but that's an independent link that you can control that will come back somewhere. And finally, there's a way of utilizing Facebook Connect, where if you add a review to your website, it can automatically give you one like to a Facebook app or page. So imagine the power of that. One review being added to your site can do all of that. This is how integrated social media should be. And if that's what one review can do for you, I mean, imagine what many, many more could do. But on its own, I think that that's pretty powerful. When you consider that it can do all that, you think, what is it worth my investment in terms of getting those reviews? And then work backwards that way. But only when we really realize how powerful a single review can be, can we start thinking, well, what do I need to invest in order to get that? That's just using one review and Facebook. I've not even touched on any of these other social media channels and sharing it with them. I've not even touched on saying, okay, get the nice video content and share it with proper video channels on YouTube, so that you drive people back from there, and how to use it on Twitter. This is just one review in Facebook from your site. So here's a couple of examples of showing reviews within the website. I've had to crop this very hastily, and there's not a pointer there, but just at the bottom here, you see great time. This is against a product here. But this is all a client's own website, and the only thing that really is the content that you can kind of put in there is that seamless integration there, the great time. I'm going to stand out here. So this is it. These are the reviews and discussions here, and then this is all of the, you've got, kind of got a star rating here as well. And another site, it might not work from down here. Oh, right, there we go. Here's another website. So here's just another way of showing it. You've got reviews, comments, etc. down here. This is integrated here. These are the buttons that you could press. So if you click on that button, it just reviews it there. So you're actually directing the visitor back to the product page to review or discuss, and you show the rating, the average rating up there as well. And this is actually another client that we just got in a different industry, in Champneys. Champneys does a load of really nice moisturisers and beauty products and bath gels and shower gels and relaxing neck massages and all sorts of, I could go on, I love Champneys. But again, you can have reviews here, and you can discuss their products, and it can appear all the way down here as well. All of this content can again be shared with other social media channels. I think that's it for those examples, and I will be rounding up now. Oh no, there's one more. Again, review content just down here, and you can use photos and videos. And this is a different client, Warner Leisure Hotels. But you see how it's all integrated seamlessly within the client's site, maintaining their branding. Okay. I think there's only a couple more slides now. Are we good for time?
A couple of minutes.
All right then. So what level of resourcing do you need to commit to this? Well, it's an interesting one. 1 day a month, 10 days a month? I wish I could give you an answer. It depends on the size of your organization. We've been asked by some clients to put a strategy together that will make them use 10 days a month, and we've had to turn around and say, quite frankly, you don't have enough stuff going on to justify 10 days per month of social media activity. But when you think about what I've just mentioned, and I think I've been quite clear of what one review can do for everyone, when you think about that, and actually a lot of that process is automated itself, how much do you really need to do beyond that? If you learn to automate the process and make maybe your own online visitors and the people adding the content do a lot of the legwork for you, then you might find out that you might need a lot less resource than you think to have a real impact in social media and begin to show a clear ROI. You do need to obviously monitor and engage all channels. But what I'm saying is if you reuse content and make it relevant to some of the markets as well, and you can automate this, then it can make it a lot easier. I'm not on about sending the same content to every single channel and boring people, but I do think that a video on Facebook or a video on YouTube can be used in a number of ways. Mistakes. Here we go, the good ones. Oh, there are a load of mistakes. And you know what? I'll probably be, later on in the party afterwards in the drinks reception, just come up to me and say, give me another mistake. I'll be glad to give you a new one. Lack of this integrated strategy is quite a clear mistake. To be honest, as I said, a lot of the companies that we speak to maybe have gone along a little bit, dipped their toe in the water, but it's been a bit misguided. They've not really thought of how it ties back to their own website. And without that focus, it can be a bit dangerous, and you might find yourself in a similar position, just kind of, ooh, well, I've got a load of likes, but I don't really know what to do with them. A lack of content's a big mistake, and there's a simple way around that. Ask the people that have visited with you for that content. It's not difficult. You know what products they've booked. Most of you will undoubtedly know the email address and the product that people have booked. Therefore, you can send them a weekly email at the end of every week. Again, we have that within the system that we deliver, but there are plenty of systems out there that can do that. It's not difficult. And that literally just prompts them. And you'll find that your response rate to that will be between 5 and 15% of people actually ask after they return to review, will actually come back and review or add photos and video. That's massive, 5 to 15%. There are concerns over negative content, but as I said, you might not need to have that because 80 to 90% of content is positive. And also, it gives you a good forum to actually respond to them in. Overcomplicated functionality is a good one. Don't do that. You don't need groups. You don't need friends. You don't need all kinds of other, special things on your site. Just get simple interactions and engagements. Just broadcast those a lot more. Lack of rewards, an interesting mistake to make. I mean, if you're asking somebody for something, you might want to give them something a little in return. And I'm going to come back up to this engagement with current customers overlooked. Sorry, I'm almost finished, I promise. Because, as I said, 51% of your likes will buy from you or are your customers as such. These are people that actually already like you. They are your brand ambassadors. Do not overlook these people. If you can engage your super users, the people that already like you, you've done half the job. Don't worry about going and getting a million people who really like you or who want to like you but don't actually know you. Why not go and get 50,000 that think that you're absolutely tremendous? Because your exposure through those 50,000 and the loyalty you'll get from them will be a lot stronger. So do start considering that. It's not just about numbers. And, oh, last slide. So what's important for everybody? It's definitely that integrated approach. Please do think of how it should be integrated within your own website, within those channels, and how you integrate it within your marketing strategy as well. I've said about how you should gather content using, emails after people have visited or stayed with you. Do provide incentives, and also it's not just about reviews and ratings, it's about discussions and forums on your own website, it's about videos, it's about photos, it's whatever works for you and whatever's most appropriate, or questions and answers, that's all social media. And finally, give them relevant content. It's not new, but it still isn't really being done properly by, I don't think, many organizations in this room. Give them relevant content, don't just send them all the content out there, really try and drill down to that even more. I'd look forward to seeing you hopefully in 6 to 12 months. Thank you for your time.